Okay. A little burr on that side. So the getting this set up was a little weird. I wanted to clamp this end cap on so that it was nice and tight, and the nut has to be drilled at the same time too. So, you know, just because, you know, it's so hard to get all that many pieces lined up, I wanted to do it as an assembly. And I have these little groove pins here that should, okay, yeah, it just starts. So these have a little groove in them, so they actually drive in and get tight. We'll probably trim those off a little bit. Yeah, it's looking pretty good there. So the fun part for me anyway was I got to use the hummingbird or narwhal edge finder here. I picked up, you know, I wanted to get the center of this. Well, it's kind of, you know, a little bit messy to find the center of that, right? So because I had the moving jaw in there, I just did a split center thing where I picked up on this side and I picked up on this side. Well, this is a great example of where we might use that, because let me grab the regular one. You see the regular one, it's way too close down in there because of all this curve business. You know, kind of the same thing over here. It's kind of marginal, but this sucker just dove right in there and got the nectar out. So anyway, it worked good, and got to use it for real instead of just playing around. So let's put him away in his little case. Okay, so I'm going to deburr that. This is going to come out, and then what? Oh, the last thing we have to do is this cool little domed end cap here, and then, boy, oh, and we got to mount the ox emblem too. So that's really, I'm saving that for last. It's really the kind of the grand finale there. So let's get this out and deburr it. All right, so we're going to shorten these pins just a whisker here, because they're close to the same diameter as the bore in there. So I'm just going to shorten them the thickness of that washer. So I'm just pushing it down until it's the same height sticking up. All right, and then we'll just take that down flush. Okay, now the trick is to not drop it and lose it. Ta-da! Okay, so pin's shortened, and that's the lead-in end there, so we shortened the trailing end there. All right, guys, so we're getting down to the wire here. We're pretty much filed to death here, and there's where we are. I kind of put it together with all the bits. Somebody mentioned those Phillips screws I had in there were kind of busy, and I went and looked at it again, and I say I have to agree, so I replaced those with button heads. I'm going to swap these out for some black ones just for a little contrast there, a little pop, but other than that, that's how that's going to be. So the bit that's left is this little cap that goes in here. It's a little kind of semi-spherical cap. There's the stock Wilton one. And it's just made out of, you know, it's just pressed sheet metal, and that goes right in there and just covers up the works in there, and it just kind of presses in. And so when you tap out these little pins here, you can pop the cap off out the rear end there. So oops, there it goes. It just wants to go in there. Look at that. Okay, so there's that. So what we're going to make that out of is I bought some, these are brass freeze plugs or core plugs for some car. I don't remember, I don't know what kind of car it was. It's kind of tricky going into the auto parts store going, yeah, I need a freeze plug that's 1-inch diameter, and they go, well, what car does it go to? And you go, well, it's not really for a car. So anyway, a little bit of fishing around, I got some. These are brass, which are kind of nice. So what we want to do is we want to take that flat contour and kind of blow it out and get a more spherical one. Okay, so what we're going to do is I kind of made I made a couple of tools, but we'll go through it. So our forming our male shape is going to be the end of a carriage bolt, and we file off the text here so that it doesn't imprint on that. And then I made a little nest out of some softish plastic that you can bang that into and kind of stretch out the back end of that. Okay, so let's see, do I have one? I did a couple just to kind of work it out, and there's kind of how they come out. But we'll do one on camera just so you guys can see it. Okay, I like that one better. So the technique got better, so I'll be sharing the better technique with you. So let's go do that. Let's dress that up, and then we'll bang out a little cap. All right, so we're gonna take off the lettering there, and come on, you guys knew this was gonna involve a file, right? Let's kind of knock those down, and then I'm going to go over on the Scotch-Brite wheel and just kind of polish this a little bit, although it probably doesn't need it. All right, that's pretty good. So I'll just polish that real quick, and then we'll go over to the anvil and we'll knock out one of them caps. Okay, so this is the cavity. So it's just a drilled hole that I countersunk around, and I have two knockers here. One has a flat on it, okay, and one has the point on it. Now, the reason for that is it's really easy to push out the center, okay? What's harder to push out is the outer radius, okay, because there's material spring back, okay? So what we want to do is we want to use the flat nose one first to form the more difficult part, and then the center section is a piece of cake with that, okay? So sometimes you have to kind of do things in two steps there to get her done, okay? So let's set that down, and then we'll put that in its little spot there. All right, and then I want to center up. You know, my first lick I want to kind of be, set that down for a sec, let me get this lined up here. You know, the first one you kind of want, I don't know, pretty good, I think, anyway. Sounds good anyway. Okay, that looks pretty good there. I like that. Okay, you guys ready? Let me see if I can get my hand back on it without moving it. Okay. Oops, I moved it. All right, you know what? Oops, this is pissing me off now. Okay. This plastic's kind of slippery, which is kind of the idea there. All right, come on. So you could use some hardwood. Okay, that looks pretty good there. Okay, we get a good lick there. Now you can see, okay, you see what happened there? Is it came out on that edge there, and that kind of stayed the way it was, right? So we're going to give it a couple more swats on that, and then we'll come back in and finish that center, okay? So it did, oh, see, you can see the inside too, okay? So let me get down at this thing's level here. The anvil's kind of low. All right, so we're going to give it a couple more here just for good measure. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. Let's keep going. let's go for it. What do you think? Who doesn't like hammering, right? I mean, come on. Okay, so now what I'll do is I'll just kind of push it around a little bit. Kind of work those edges. Oh yeah, it looks pretty uniform. Now you could, you know, this is as it comes brass here, right? You could anneal it too, and then it would really move easily. All right, so yeah, I like that. Okay, let's switch over to make sure I haven't driven out of the frame there. Okay, now let's go back to centered, and then we're going to go in with our full radius, which should just kind of hit in the center, and we want this one centered. Okay, there we go. See that? Okay. So it's got a little, darn it. All right, let me go back in with the other one there. It's got a little flatty on it now. All right, that's better. So you can see how thick this, you can see how thick this cap is too. So I got a little bit of material to work with there too. So I can you know, do some file work on that too and spin it in the lathe or whatever and get it real nice. So if I want, which I probably do, just kind of work around. Oh yeah, much better. Okay, all right. So now we let's chuck it up and do a little file work on that thing. So. So we call this planishing here actually. I'm just very subtly changing the shape of it. The face of the hammer is polished so I don't put marks in that. And we try to keep it clean, you know, that way you don't drive dirt and particles in there. See how we're looking there. Oh yeah, that's helping. It still had a little ridge in it that I didn't like the look of. Hopefully, big fat fingers aren't in there. Actually, that's looking pretty good. I might just Scotch-Brite that thing in. call it quits, you know. See what that. Yeah, I mean, a little bit of file work to dress out those. That a little polish. So yeah, now you can see where the hammer hits are. You know what? I'm liking the look of that. A little spot. There's a little scratch in there. Alright. Okay. So we got one of these, we got the brass freeze plug in the lathe, and I just clamped it in a 1-inch two-piece clamp collar here. What I need to do is this particular sheet metal pressed cup is quite a bit thicker than the stock Wilton one. So what I need to do is I need to bore the idea of this just a little bit to kind of thin that, because there's an interference that I have to take care of. Okay, so we'll indicate that in. You can see it's running out a little bit there. You know, you can't see the gauge, and frankly, you know, I'm tired of screwing around with the indicator faces. I need to see it. You guys don't really need to see it. But it is fun for you, so sorry. This is a little boring tool that I put a corner radius on the tool here, okay, to kind of match that internal corner radius in the cup. Okay, so let's get this little monkey dialed in here, and this is the little ID attachment that goes on a regular indicator here, okay, and I can't remember the number of this thing. It's made by Starrett, and yeah, no number on it. And it clamps around the 3/8 shank there, 10mm shank, and then does that, okay? So it's kind of handy for this kind of stuff where you're, all right, come on, you little, there it goes. Where you got a little edge there that you can work off of. And there's several types, actually. That's probably worth talking about. Let's bring out the types here, okay? So there's the other type. It's a smaller version of the same thing, okay? That's a 671, so that's probably a 672 or a 670 or something. And then here's another type too. This is a little flexure here, and it kind of bends around the corner. This one's kind of neat for little edges up close too, so it kind of works good for that, to adapt a regular large indicator. Okay, so let's get on with it here. Let's see where we're at. Okay, quite a bit there. All right. So now everything's backwards with this. So your highs are your lows. So we're gonna slacken the highs. All right, and tighten the lows here in this situation. Okay, so there's the high. Gonna loosen that. Go the other way. Okay, there's another high. Okay. All right. All right, well, we're sneaking right up on it. Getting pretty close. All right. Right about there. Crack that one a little. start snugging stuff down here. There. Do that. Okay, it's lumping around a little bit. It's not quite round here, I can see that. It's about 2/1000 right now. Let's try to snug that one just a whisker more. All right, didn't really help. Okay. Okay, I think that's gonna be close enough. Let's get that out of there. All right. I'm going to move the camera so for this boring shot. For this boring shot. All right, think we're ready? All right, let's take a little skim out of there. Squeal, right? Yeah, I don't like the relief on this tool. I think I'm going to touch this tool up a little bit. So normally you don't want a large radius on a boring tool for that very reason, so it doesn't squeal. But I don't like this this side relief that I see here, so I'm going to add a little bit more to it. So I'll be right back. All right, so we adjusted the tool a little bit. I think it's going to be good. Face of that's a little wonky there. I don't think we care about it, but I think that'll be fine. So yeah, that radius is blending in there okay, so I think that'll do it. So we'll pop that out and give her a try in the old baby bullet. All right. So if you guys remember, this was a freeze plug, right? That's supposed to be pressed in for a watertight seal into an engine block. So this diameter is about, yeah, it was about 9 or 10 thousandths over 1 inch. Okay, and we really, you know, we're going to be tapping it in on this nice formed surface here, okay? So we don't want it, we don't want it too tight, right? We don't want it too loose either. We want it just right. So what I'm doing here, this is a big drill bushing here I happen to have with a 1 inch ID, right? So I can kind of judge the fit because the baby bullet itself is 1 inch there, and where this fits, and so I can kind of judge the fit here, and then I'm just going over to the Scotch-Brite wheel and I just go around it a little bit, and then I check it over here and I go around it a little bit. So we'll go through a cycle there and you can kind of see, and I'm just going to use my little knocker, my little carriage bolt former, right, because it's already the same shape, okay, and kind of swage it through. Want it to hit the floor, okay? And what this does is it scuffs the side. It scuffs the side where, well, you can see it's pretty shiny all the way around. So we'll go over to the Scotch-Brite wheel and we'll take that off, and then we'll try it in here again, and when we get the kind of the right feel there, we'll put it in the baby bullet. Alright, let's give this little monkey a try here. Gotta get it started nice and straight for its close up. Ooh, it even made a good sound when it went in. Looks pretty damn good. I'll give that thing a little polish now that it's fitted nicely. Okay. Oh, I don't know. That brass looks pretty good there, so we're gonna have that on that. Got a little bit. See? Actually, you know what? Let me just put it together for the full effect. There's no grease on the screw, so don't fret. All right, look at that. That is pretty easy on the eyes, I have to say. Even to me, I've been looking at it for a couple of months now. It's just a pleasing shape to look at, you know. All right, and that really is the last thing. So, due to popular demand, we are not going to paint this. So, it will be up to the final disposition, whoever ends up with this thing. So, okay. So we will mount this though. Oops, we're gonna get mount it. Yeah, that would be a good one. Bozo move and put that on upside down. All right. Thanks for watching, guys.